afternoon. My name is Nehemiah Spalon, and I will be on the negative side of the U.S. should be using solar panels as the main source of energy. First off, I'd like to start off with a quote from an article from Evelyn D. Mattis, the article being named Negative Effects of Solar Energy, from an article written on the 24th of April 2017. Solar energy can be costly. Although the sun is a free source of energy, the technology needed to develop solar energy is extremely expensive, and manufacturing a solar panel requires expensive materials. So although we see that the sun is a free source of energy that we can harness energy from, the materials that we need to make solar panels is actually expensive, and we see that in an article cost of solar written on the 2nd of June 2015. On average, the total cost of solar installation can be between $15,000 to $29,000 for an average size system between 4 kilowatts and 8 kilowatts. So we see that it is pretty expensive to own solar panels as an initial cost. And the reason why we use fossil fuels is because it is a cheap source of energy, as well as fossil fuels have what is called a high calorific value, meaning that when we burn fossil fuels, they produce a high amount of energy in a low amount that is used, compared to solar panels, which currently aren't as efficient as fossil fuels are. We see that in another article called the 2017 Most Efficient Solar Panels on the Market. It says that the most efficient commercially available solar panels on the market today have efficiency ratings as high as 22.5%, whereas the majority of panels range from 14 to 60% efficiency rating. So we see here that yes, we can gather solar energy from the sun, but it's not as efficient and it's not as cost effective as using fossil fuels. Fossil fuels allow us to harness more energy for such a cheaper price. Also, my opponent here said that solar power, using solar energies is actually good for the environment, but in reality it's not. In the study done by the EIA, or U.S. Energy Information Administration, on 31 August 2017, it says, as with any power plant, large solar power plants can affect the environment near their locations. Clearing land for construction and the placement of the power plant may have long-term effects on habitat areas for native plants and animals. It also says that some power plants may require water for cleaning, solar collectors and concentrators, or for cooling turbine generators. Using large volumes of waters or surface water in some arid locations may affect the ecosystem's dependence on these water resources. So that is just one example of how using solar energies hurts the environment. We also see in another example with solar farms, they have an array of solar panels all pointed at one tower which collects heat, right? And in this situation, again from the same study done by the EIA, in addition, the beam of sunlight a solar power tower creates can kill birds and insects that fly into the beams, as well as cause blindness for pilots flying above and things like that. My opponent also said that we should be switching from solar to fossil fuels so we can power the U.S. grid, but we don't see, we see in another article is that from the developmenteducation.ie, written on 12 April 2017, it takes time and money to change distribution and consumption of energy, meaning we will be dependent on fossil fuels until we can afford the switch. So it won't be easy to incorporate or to change from fossil fuels to solar plants, because we will need to change the distribution methods, right? We will need to build these solar farms so we can harness those energies. As well as the one thing that my opponent didn't mention is that when the sun goes down, you will no longer be able to collect energy from the sun. As soon as the sun goes down, production will be cut into zero, and then if we have just solar farms, what energy are we going to rely on? Fossil fuels will have to be there to take that supplement, to be that backup in case those solar panels fail. And let's see what else.